baby, please. Please, baby, don't do this to me. Where are you? Sophia!
Mind a Path to Thalamus. Where do I even begin with this hidden treasure? This game was built primarily by one person, Carlos Corando, and if you played Left 4 Dead, he's one of the guys who built the Barcelona campaign. Now, Mind a Path to Thalamus is a really intriguing puzzle game. This game is beautiful, and I could spend hours of my time exploring every little detail in these worlds. It has a creative take on puzzles using its unique weather mechanics, yet this entire game is almost ruined by its terrible ending, monotonous droning, and spewing of exposition. And we will be discussing the end boss in full near the middle of this video since I absolutely hated it. If you don't want me ruining the end of the game, there will be a warning right before I start talking about it. Mind a Path to Thalamus owes a debt at least in part to Myst and its sequels. These are games that twisted your brain into knots when you weren't admiring the surrounding beauty and pondering the mysteries you are unveiling. Here, you wander through various surreal locations, meadows crisscrossed by stone walkways and dotted with pillars, floating islands connected by glowing portals, and beaches topped with sunny blue skies. Now you make your way through this world with wire orbs and by dropping them in designated regions in order to affect the weather. Now not only do you discover on your own how to make it rain, but also discovering what the rain means for the world around you and how it can help you escape your prison. Now, in Mind, you play as a man trapped in a coma, trying to deal with the long-past death of his sister and possible recent death of his own daughter, both which are named Sophia, both which are harmed during storm-chasing events. Yo, bro, I think it's time for you to pack it up and get a fucking desk job. So basically, in Mind, there is a narrator who is monologuing over the gameplay. The narrator is the protagonist, and having the protagonist narrate his own story is fine, but here it's not really clear up front, so you'll spend most of the time wondering who the hell's talking and not really be paying attention to the actual story. Also, the narrator is absolutely terrible and makes you want to gouge your own ears out with a fork.
For all those years, I'd hated my father almost as much as myself for what happened to my little sister. And then I go and do the same thing to my own daughter. My own Sophia. They say things never change. Cynics. What do they know?
So the puzzles are designed with this dreamlike logic that helps us make sense of the world. Here, exploration is key to most puzzles because there are integral locations that act as buttons. For example, a dome of dead trees controls the fog, which acts as a barrier. A circle of stones control the rain, which grows or moves platforms. And a patch of flowers determines whether it's day or night, which allows us to activate or deactivate portals. We can't even begin to solve these puzzles until we find these key locations, and they can be rather well hidden within some of the environments. But the great level design ensures that we always stay on track. The smallest of clues often mark the proper path. Now these clues include footprints in the sand, the faint sound of music playing in the distance, or a vague outline within the fog. These are all things so subtle that at first you might think you're imagining them. But over time, Mind trains us to follow these minor visual cues, to trust that their elaborate path will eventually take us to one more important location that we need to solve a puzzle. The game earns a trust with you that allows you to let go of your worries and just let the mood of the game wash over you. Now, a little bit into the game, you run into sort of a boss fight. Now, Mind isn't a game that should have anything that resembles a boss fight, but this one works quite well. It stokes the perfect balance between thoughtfulness and excitement. This moment is a slow puzzle of timing and spatial awareness, as well as a thrilling chase. It even invokes a surreal beauty within the game. Yet despite all these good things, Mind ends on a very low note for me. There is another boss fight. And if you don't want me to spoil the ending, you can click right here to skip past this section, which is probably the remaining half of the video. You have 5 seconds to click the annotation to skip it. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Alright, great. Fuck those people anyways. So this boss fight has a more traditional structure and pacing, which is immediately disappointing. But to make matters worse, you fight an enemy that yells at you and mocks at everything good about the game. Now I know all you Mind Path to Thalamus people will say, no, Indie Critic, can't you see? He's fighting his self-doubt. and trying to find peace of his sister and daughter's death. No! Fuck you! It doesn't work. Sure, it's a cool idea, but why does it have to be so stupid? You basically have 5 mini puzzles that will take you about 5 minutes each to complete, and it makes you feel like you wasted 4 hours of playing time. This game has such a dumb payoff. I would rather be playing Call of Duty right now. I much rather would have had this game end on the beach scene. It had a complex puzzle that took a bit of time to complete and made the player feel smart. It also looked absolutely beautiful. And to make matters worse, the delivery of the end boss is just so frustrating. I think he has like max 3 lines of dialogue that he just loops over and over and over again. And if you're thinking to yourself, the boss battle can't be that bad, I completely disagree with you. There is no cool fight scene, the scenery in the battle I honestly do not care for, and there is no danger at all. He has this giant sweeping arm thing that pushes your wire ball around so you can access the small little 5-minute puzzle things. And I thought for the first 10 minutes that you had to dodge this sweeping arm or it will kill you. But it doesn't matter. You could ride this dude's arm thing like a fucking horse if you really wanted to. So the ground is split into sections, and the arm pushes this ball around in a circle, which gives you about 30 seconds of time to access the puzzle zone. You go into the zone, solve the mediocre puzzle, and then head back to the boss. Then the section on the ground is now covered by this like black fog or liquid thing, which I thought would cause damage or despawn the ball, so I had to go find another one. But I was sadly disappointed again. This boss battle has absolutely no threat whatsoever. The enemies that you see on your way to the boss are more threatening than this dude. There are more things that I could bitch about with this end boss, but honestly, I don't think you guys give a shit. If you're gonna play this game, do not play the end level if you want to end on a high note. It's not worth your time. It's as if you played a full game of Mario, and the last level turns into Call of Duty Zombies or something. It makes zero fucking sense, and it just shouldn't have been included in the game. Or they should have at least added a cool puzzle to take your mind off the shitty acting of the end boss. Anyways, the final score for Mind Path to Thalamus is a 6 out of 10. It's an okay game, and I wanted to give it a 7 out of 10, but I feel the ending and the narration was just so disappointing to me. The game had a fairly cliche story, and I feel like it would have been better to just remove most of the dialogue and leave the story up for interpretation. Leave around some hidden notes and some side things that happened in the skybox to tell the story without actually telling a story. In my opinion, subtle stories are a lot better than having people shout exposition at you the entire game. Either way, I believe you guys should pick this game up and give it a try. And if you're waiting for The Witness from Jonathan Blow, this is a great way to fill an evening. Anyways, thank you for watching the second episode, and I will see you all on the next installment of the Indie Critic.